Tonight, vaccination capacity issues identified in parts of the Spencer Gulf. And South Australia keeps its borders closed to jurisdictions as COVID cases keep appearing.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. As concerns around the interstate COVID outbreak looms in South Australia, the solution continues to turn to the vaccination rollout. However, in parts of regional South Australia, there have been capacity issues identified. The Health Minister now trying to fix them.
Trying to run the vaccine rollout more smoothly. If you're trying to get the Pfizer jab in Port Pirie, at this stage you won't be able to get an appointment until September, early October for Port Lincoln locals. However, in Whyalla and Port Augusta, you can get your jab tomorrow. The Health Minister confirming capacity issues at the Port Lincoln Clinic, now set to open a new, larger COVID vaccination facility on Monday.
That clinic will have 60% increased capacity to do vaccinations. That means that there'll be 150 more vaccinations per week available at the Port Lincoln site.
The capacity issues also identified in Port Pirie. The Health Minister mentioning looking into expanding the clinic, but he's hoping as more GPs and pharmacies come online in the next few weeks, more bookings could become available.
So we're constantly looking at ways that we can expand our capacity, and in particular to work with GPs and pharmacists to roll out the vaccine.
Also stating vaccination rates across the Eyre and Far North Local Health Network are lower compared to other parts of the region, with more than 11,700 doses, while the Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network is significantly higher, around 14,900 doses.
There is an increase in Pfizer doses, and that'll be supplied, as I understand it, on a pro rata basis to South Australia, both metropolitan and regional.
But the Shadow Health Minister says more still needs to be done to improve vaccination rates and increase capacity in regional areas.
There's a significant number of people who do want to get vaccinated, who do want to do the right thing, but have found it difficult to do so. And we need to make sure that we use every possible resource to do that.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A new exposure site has been identified in the state after removalists from New South Wales tested positive to COVID yesterday. The group stopping over at a Shell service station at Tailem Bend in the state's southeast between 5:20 p.m. and 7 p.m. on July 9. Premier Stephen Marshall says QR code tracking has helped locate many close contacts at the site.
They will need to go into quarantine and be tested, and of course their families and their immediate contacts will need to as well. We're very concerned about this Delta variant.
No new cases of COVID-19 were reported in the state today, and no exposure sites have been identified so far at McLaren Vale, where the group also passed through. Meanwhile, South Australia's borders remain closed to New South Wales, the ACT, and any person travelling from a Queensland restricted zone. It comes as 89 new cases were reported in New South Wales and 1 death, the man aged in his 70s from Sydney's eastern suburbs. South Australia also tightening restrictions on those returning to the state.
Returning SA residents are no longer able to simply come into South Australia by filling in the cross-border application form. They must now seek an exemption because we are trying to slow down the movement of people who are leaving SA to New South Wales.
As of 1 minute past midnight on Thursday, freight truck drivers will have to submit to a COVID test on entering South Australia. Police are seeking public assistance to help locate missing Port Pirie woman Emma Mertens. The 44-year-old was last seen at around 3 yesterday afternoon in Port Pirie. Police and family have concerns for her welfare. Emma is described as being about 165 centimetres tall, with short dark hair and olive complexion, and was last seen wearing a dark blue top and dark pants. Anyone who sees Emma Mertens or knows of her whereabouts is asked to contact the police assistance line on 131 444. Rental vacancies in regional South Australia have hit rock bottom, with low levels not seen in more than a decade. Would-be tenants and young people moving out of home for the first time are struggling to find a place to live.
The rental market in regional South Australia, as competitive as it's been in more than a decade.
Find a nice home and that goes on the market. We're getting anywhere up to sort of 10, 20 applicants for a nice property.
For Port Lincoln and the surrounds, the vacancy rate is effectively zero.
count on one hand, basically.
Real estate agents say it is especially difficult for young people trying to enter the market for the first time.
They're the ones I really feel sorry for because they don't have a rental history. You know, if they're coming in for an application, I mean, we got to treat everyone fairly, but, you know, if they don't have a rental history, it's very difficult for them to get a start.
Innovative ideas like house sharing becoming more common to service the demand.
They rent per room, you know, and obviously mix with other tenants and whatnot.
Reluctant landlords who had struggled to sell are now seizing on the strong housing market, listing their properties for sale, reducing the number of dwellings to rent.
Now that the market's picked up, those houses have gone to market and have been sold.
Mr Prout offering a solution to help entice investors back into the market.
Look at reducing land tax so that it becomes attractive for mum and dad investors to get into the market.
Real estate agents urging people with holiday homes to offer up their property for parts of the year. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, accommodation businesses boom in Port Augusta amid an influx of FIFO contractors. And a petition launches to upgrade a Wallaroo road in poor condition. We'll see you soon after the break. Welcome back. A large number of contractors currently working in Port Augusta is reportedly having a positive effect on local businesses. The reason partly due to the city accommodating fly-in fly-out workers needing a bed, food and recreation.
Building up the city's infrastructure and its local economy. Businesses in Port Augusta experiencing the benefit of having contractors in the city to work on projects, saying the influx of contractors as well as their demand for accommodation and meals is welcomed after last year's financial slump.
We have a standby restaurant and we get them coming to our restaurant, either takeaways or eating there. Everybody knows how to eat curry.
Contractors descending upon the city for the Joy Balloof Bridge duplication and the construction of the Lincoln Gap wind farm.
We look after a lot of them. They spread the word around. Port Augusta is growing. That's why they're coming here. There's work here.
Oh, it's just been good because they need accommodation. And if they need accommodation, they also generally spend a little bit more money out eating and drinking and those things. So it's like an extra bit of population in the town.
Accommodation providers say the project's fly-in fly-out workers expand their potential service beyond tourists to the region.
Yeah, well, it sort of balances out a little bit, so you're not just concentrating on one big sector, because if something goes down in one, you're not relying on just the one sector, so it certainly solidifies it a little bit.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The member for Narunga says upgrades to a busy Wallaroo road are long overdue, preparing to take the matter before State Parliament next week. Our reporter Katrina Musson has the story from the site.
The member for Narunga is calling on the Wallaroo community to rally behind a petition to get this main road into the popular tourist town fixed.
It's been a long time coming, the main entrance road into Wallaroo. I'm trying to use the community, use this petition to show the government that we need it fixed and we need it fixed soon.
He says this section of Kadina Road into Wallaroo is the subject of many complaints to his office, with one constituent recently bringing in a letter from the Department of Roads from 1993 saying it was going to get surveyed and fixed.
It's been almost 28 years since they promised that. Nothing's happened. Now it's time to show the government that we're keen to have it done and ready to have it done.
Also saying it's a frequently used road by both locals and tourists and is a cause for concern.
The road's far too narrow, it's far too undulating, and this is the main tourism road into Wallaroo, so it's vital that it gets fixed so that visitors to our region have a positive experience and they come back again and again and again.
So far, the petition has received about 1,000 signatures in support of fixing the road, encouraging others to get behind it.
We're keen to have your signature and push well past that 1,000 mark and really show the widespread community support.
Fraser Ellis says the petition will be tabled in Parliament on July 20.
The member for Giles has sent a letter to the Primary Industries Minister asking for more transparency over the Clean Seas project. Eddie Hughes says he's concerned the 4,000 tonne limit of the fish farm would affect the existing sea wildlife.
Another concern regarding kingfish farming at Fitzgerald Bay. The member for Giles writing to Primary Industries Minister David Basham about nutrient overload from the farm.
But the approval for that 4,000 tonnes was based on modelling Whereas to the south of Fitzgerald Bay, in False Bay, we've got a real-world example of what nutrient loads can do to a marine environment.
Eddie Hughes, citing an earlier incident downstream at False Bay, where ammonia discharges from BHP destroyed 20 square kilometres of seagrass. He's asking the state government for details about the monitoring scheme to be used at the aquaculture farm to prevent a repeat.
How do you reconcile that modelling with what happened in the real world at False Bay? So I want those questions answered.
It's similar to concerns Senator Rex Patrick and the Conservation Council of SA raised last Friday. While Eddie Hughes disagrees with the Conservation Council's position on how the nutrients affect cuttlefish, he understands the need for greater transparency. In a statement, Primary Industries Minister David Basham saying communities can have confidence with the operation undergoing extensive environmental investigations. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Police are investigating the theft of equipment from a trailer on a rural property near Broken Hill. The incident occurred between Friday the 9th and Monday the 12th of July. A yellow and black coloured Waratah brand tool bag, a fence post air driver, a Toolex air compressor and a red coloured jerry can were stolen. Anyone with information about the theft is urged to contact Broken Hill Police Station or Crime Stoppers. Stay with us after the break. Whyalla City Council to give away free trees for a National Day of Awareness. And a new review reveals a Mid-North frozen treat is still as popular as ever. We'll see you again shortly. Hello again. The Whyalla City Council is preparing to give away free trees as part of a National Tree Day this year. The annual event pushing residents to be friendlier with the environment, with children also encouraged to take part in tree planting.
An opportunity for residents to take home a native shrub to plant in their own gardens. The Whyalla City Council giving away plants from the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens in Port Augusta to residents.
We're going to be having a free giveaway for all shrubs. We've got ground covers, little shrubs, medium-sized shrubs, and all the community are welcome to come down on July the 31st.
It's the 4th year in a row Council has held the event, with plenty of residents keen to help the environment. Council hoping the program will raise awareness about the importance of trees in our ecosystem and how they affect our breathing.
It's obviously going to help us all breathe one day, so it's a great initiative from the Council and from National Tree Day.
It's not just adults who can get in on the fun of tree planting. Mystery boxes have been delivered to each school and kindergarten in the city, with a selection of 10 native plants, giving the next generation a chance to learn about the environment.
So I've been communicating with them with letters and emails and phone calls, and they're like, oh, we got plants last year or the year before. So they're sending us photos of what they look like, so which is great. I'm happy to see them from what happened in a couple of years ago.
Council staff will hand out the trees at the rear gate next to the nursery with COVID protocols in place. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Rates and payment increases are hot topics within the Port Augusta community as tensions begin to rise. Council holding a community gathering tomorrow for locals to voice their ideas and potential changes to the proposed budget.
In the wake of more than 120 submissions disagreeing with Council's proposed annual business plan, the Council is letting the community have their say. The topic? Finding an alternative income model instead of the proposed council rating system that could see some residents pay up to 20% higher rates next year.
It's really important that the community supports council, but also tells them how they're feeling so that we're all on the same page.
The Ratepayers Association says the council took a positive step last Wednesday night by listening to community feedback and not yet adopting the existing budget. With tough decisions to be made about what to change in the budget, community members are voicing ways to lessen the impacts on the ratepayer. To assist in this, a meeting will be held tomorrow night within the Central Oval Complex. Here, community members will discuss potential alternative solutions to reduce rates. The council could cut services, sell property, or even be forced to ask the state government for help.
We charge our ratepayers who live here, but we provide services for a much larger area that I think other levels of government need to support and understand and appreciate.
While there is no clear path at the moment, the Ratepayers Association hopes that tomorrow's meeting will continue to open up discussion.
Laura's Golden North ice cream remains the top tier for ice cream brands in the latest CanStar Blue consumer review. For the fourth year in a row, the Mid-North frozen treat has topped the charts, dropping only 1 star in the value for money category. CanStar Blue surveying more than 2,900 Australian consumers about which ice cream tubs they have bought and eaten from supermarkets in the past 3 months. Golden North receiving 5-star reviews for taste, consistency, range variety, packaging and overall satisfaction. Stay with us after the break. We'll have a rundown of the highs and lows from weekend sport games. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. We'll see you again shortly. Welcome back. It was a big weekend of sport across the Spencer Gulf region, with the Outback Rugby League competition playing its final minor round game. Here's our reporter Dylan Smith with a wrap of the weekend sport.
It was a quiet weekend of sport here in Port Lincoln, while other towns across the region were treated to some entertaining competition. We start over in Broken Hill, where the Outback Rugby League competition is heading towards its finish. In our first game, it was Pantu defeating the winless Scorpions by 40 points, signalling the end of a difficult season for the Scorpions. In the match of the round, it was the Boomerangs defeating the Yabbies in a nail-biter, 26-20. The win sees the Boomerangs leapfrog the Yabbies into top spot, winning their way straight through to the grand final. This weekend sees the Yabbies take on Pantu in the preliminary final, the winner facing the Boomerangs in the grand final on July 25th. We move over to Whyalla, where there were plenty of goals scored in the Whyalla Soccer Association. The Lions secured an impressive 5-3 away victory over the Wanderers on Saturday. While on Sunday, Westlands United upset top of the table Still United in a nail-biter, the home side prevailing 2-1. In Port Pirie on Sunday, Savoy secured an impressive 3-0 victory over Salisbury Inter in the Challenge Cup. Egidi Sabamana, the hero, scoring a brace, while Samuel Spadavecchia scored 1. Boys and girls from Port Pirie, Port Augusta, Whyalla, Roxby Downs and Northern Areas football leagues met at Memorial and Pirie West Ovals to compete in the Nice Star Northern Football Carnival. A crowd of over 600 people watched junior footballers participate in the Under-11 and Under-13 Carnival. Port Augusta were crowned the Under-11 champions, going through undefeated, while Port Pirie took home the Under-13 Boys Championship in style, winning their games. In the Under-13 girls, it was Port Augusta proving too strong, winning all of their games. That's all for this week. We'll be back with footy tips on Friday, and we'll have all the weekend's action next Monday.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. And Alex, the rain looks like it's not easing anytime soon.
Yes, that's right, Ruby. The rain is here to stay. I'll have more detail on that later. We certainly had to try and stay dry today. From 3 p.m, Whyalla was wet and a max of 18. There was a shower or two in Port Pirie, 16, and it was windy and wet in Cleve, reached 18 there. Looking further out across the region now, Broken Hill was cloudy in 16. There were showers in Port Lincoln and Cooper Pedy, both also 16. Port Augusta, Woodner and Kadina were all wet and reached 18. Clare was 14 and Adelaide had showers and 17. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cloud band crossing South Australia with a broad trough is generating showers, mainly in the western central districts. Skies are clearing in the far southwest in the wake of the trough. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northerly winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 20 or 30 knots in the afternoon. Seas around 1 metre, increasing to up to 2 metres around midday, and south to southwesterly swell around 1 to 1.5 metres. And a short time ago, there were a number of warnings current for parts of the Spencer Gulf, the Bureau issuing a marine wind warning as well as a warning to sheep graziers. And as we've already mentioned, rainy days are ahead. Port Lincoln showers 18 tomorrow, Cleve set to top 19, Woodner to reach a max of 20 degrees, Whyalla to reach 21, Port Augusta 23, and Kadina is set to reach a high of of 18. Showers easing in Port Pirie 20. Clare set to top 16 degrees. And Broken Hill will reach a max of 19 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, windy for Cooper Pedy with the region's top of 22 degrees on Thursday. Showers forecast everywhere else. Windy for Broken Hill. Port Lincoln will record the region's low, set to top just 16. Similar conditions on Friday. Windy for Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill. Showers forecast for everywhere else. Port Augusta is set to top 19 degrees. Port Lincoln, Adelaide and Kadina will all reach a high of 15. And now for a sneak peek at the weekend forecast. Showers for Port Augusta, Woodner, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Adelaide and Port Pirie on Saturday. Cloudy for Broken Hill and Kadina. The region's top will get to a max of 17, while the region's low will get to a high of 14. So not good news for those parents needing to find activities for their kids during the school holidays, and it doesn't appear that the rain will disappear over the weekend. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Ruby.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.